Hello everybody and welcome to the TARDIS Zone. Peter Capaldi accused of taking a swipe at Doctor Who. I've read the article, The Mirror, and all of these other articles are taking these comments out of context. But they need something to talk about because, you know, there's nothing really going on since the Comic-Con thing. It's all died down all of a sudden. So they need something. And what better to get the white male and slag him off. Yes. Right, so Peter Capaldi apparently has been accused of taking the swipe at Doctor Who because of the prosthetics and the aliens and stuff. Now I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to read the article, and then I'm going to actually read his actual quote, right? And you will see that the Mirror is trying to generate a headline that's not there, right? This is typical of the Mirror and the Sun newspaper, their sister papers. This is typical of them. This is what I would call trash journalism. And here we go. Peter Capaldi's swipe at BBC at Doctor Who as he compares sci-fi hit to B-movie. Peter played the title character of Doctor Who across 46 episodes between 2013 and 2017. And is now starring in a Hollywood superhero blockbuster, The Suicide Squad. Peter Capaldi has taken a backhanded swipe at Doctor Who and says the BBC has let down its flagship show, sci-fi show, by failing to fund it enough to make props and prosthetics look realistic. The long-running time travel series has been on air since the 1960s, but by the sound of 63-year-old Peter's verdict, the budget for the show has barely increased since the original episode screened in 1963. So you mean to tell me that the budget has hardly increased since 1963? Seamus Duff, who actually wrote this article, is a clueless twat. The budget since 1963, you moron, has gone up, actually. And if you look at the Chris Chibnall era, they threw money at that. So to say that the budget has barely increased since 1963 just goes to show me how much of a hack of a journalist you actually are. You tried to make a headline out of something that wasn't there, by the way. I'll read on. Because he did say something in a radio interview about saying that he wouldn't do radio plays because, you know, even though fans have to use their imagination, it's not his cup of tea. So people now are speculating, maybe he's not going to do Big Finish. So what if he doesn't? I hope he doesn't do Big Finish. Why would he want to do Big Finish? I honestly do believe that this man was fired. Is he taking swipes? Maybe he's taking some swipes at the BBC, but he's not taking swipes at Doctor Who. So Peter has advanced to a big budget Hollywood films and is now starring in Warner Brothers and DC comic films. The Suicide Squad, the long stars include Margot Robbie, Sylvester Stallone, and Viola Davis, right? Speaking to Digital Spy, right? Digital Spy are another one of these shill magazines, by the way. I wouldn't be listening to and that comes out of their mouth. Peter inadvertently slated his old BBC show, saying monsters look too cheap to be scary, and claimed props would fall to pieces on set. Comparing his time as the Doctor to playing the Thinker in the Suicide Squad, Peter said, everything about the Suicide Squad was bigger. And also, you know, we had an incredible cast. Right, the difference is Doctor Who is a TV show. And Suicide Squad is a big budget movie. They literally have millions to throw at props and things. I think this article by this guy is very disingenuous. And then he says it here. Also, there was a lot more money, you know. Doctor Who, we don't really have enough. Everything on Doctor Who falls to pieces. All of the props fall to pieces, and the costumes have to be stuck together with duct tape and Velcro and stuff. That's not him taking a dig. Doctor Who's always done this. He's been a fan since he's a kid. He wrote in a letter to the BBC. This is not him taking a dig at Doctor Who. You've interpreted it as him taking a dig at Doctor Who, Seamus. He's not taking a dig at Doctor Who. Cramming in somewhat backhanded compliment, he went on. Now, he's trying to say that this is a backhanded compliment. He said, I like that kind of B-movie, kind of cobbled together quality of it. Well, Doctor Who has always been like that, Seamus. Maybe you don't understand that. Maybe you interpret that as a backhanded comment. You're an idiot. Peter went on, you know that there's never really quite enough money, but the ideas are often very special. Like, that's what I like. See, he's even saying it. Peter went on, you know, there is never really quite enough money, but the ideas are often very special. That's what I like. Where's the backhanded compliment there? Or the backhanded swipe, Seamus? But it's also nice to be somewhere where they do have enough money to make a monster look scary. Of course, you're doing a big budget movie that's worth millions of dollars. You know, of course, the props are going to be better. Seamus, you really are a dumb truck. So, Peter's new film includes characters who are CGI, with Stallone playing a huge land-walking shark monster, and includes epic battle scenes featuring destruction and blood-splattering violence, while Doctor Who's main villain continues to be the Daleks, which are effectively oversized dustbins with toilet plungers and whisks for arms. Right, that's obviously the reporter's own opinion there, because he hasn't said that that's Peter's opinion there. According to reports, episodes of Doctor Who would cost around $1 million per episode to make, with Peter featuring in 45 episodes as the title character. So Seamus. At the start of this article, you actually said that the budget for Doctor Who since 1960s hasn't increased that much, right? Literally, you say in this actual article that Doctor Who it costs $1 million per episode to make. So you're contradicting yourself there. See, you'd nothing better to do, mate. You'd nothing better to do, because you probably are a fan of the current era. You've seen all of the stuff that's being said about it. People are finally coming out and having the balls to say that this era isn't good. And now you got nothing better to do, and you've decided that you'll pick up on Peter Capaldi's comments and make a big, huge article about it, make a big deal about it. Oh, he's taking a swipe at the BBC. He's taking a swipe at Doctor Who. The budget of the 2021 film version of the Suicide Squad, meanwhile, has not yet been revealed. Nobody gives a crap. Doctor Who could be considered a divisive television series, with many long-life fans treasuring every episode, while other TV fanatics slate it as substandard production. That's your opinion, Seamus. That's your opinion. So basically what you've done is, right, there's been Peter Capaldi made a couple of comments, and you've made a whole article where you're giving your opinion. Where you're giving your opinion about the state of Doctor Who. You're disgusting. Back in 2010, Stephen Fry blasted the BBC for heavily promoting Doctor Who, as he wrote it off as a children's show and laminated the lack of adult entertainment on the beat. Well, Stephen Fry is entitled to his opinion. I respect Stephen Fry. He does have a point that BBC don't have enough adult entertainment on the BBC, but You know, he's entitled to his opinion to blast Doctor Who if he wants to, if that's how he feels. I'm not going to say anything about Stephen Fry. But the fact that you roped him into this article, comments that he made back in 2010, like 11 years ago. Like, it's changed. The organisation has changed from 11 years ago. There's a lot more adult entertainment now. You look at Line of Duty, Peaky Blinders and all of that other rubbish, Casualty, all of that. Right, so this whole article is basically, I'll leave it up there. So, in fairness, right, he's taken Peter Capaldi's comments out of context. He's written a whole article, right? 2 paragraphs feature Peter Capaldi's words, and then he goes into this rant. I think Seamus actually has a lot of issues there. You know? Seamus, you know, sorry, Seamus, but, you know, just because, you know, you're not a fan of Doctor Who doesn't mean it gives you the right to come out and write a shit article like that. This article is a load of balls, right? This is what we call hack journalism, right? Because, you know, any journalist that takes an actor's or actress's comments out of context is a hack journalist. They're trying to create headlines. Peter Capaldi has not taken a swipe, right? He even said that he liked the B budget feel to Doctor Who. But he, Seamus, because he has issues, said that was a backhanded compliment, right? Because, you know, they don't like Peter Capaldi. It's absolutely ridiculous. Well, all I'm going to say is that Peter Capaldi has not said that. Now, he has made some comments, by the way, about not about Big Finish directly, but what he has says is that he's not a fan of these radio plays. And fans out there now have interpreted it that he doesn't want to do Big Finish. Listen, I don't blame him if he doesn't want to do Big Finish. I wouldn't do Big Finish if I were him, especially if I was sacked from the lead role. Why would you want to go and do Big Finish, right? If he wanted to stay on as the Doctor in the series, he should have been given that opportunity to do so. Why would he want to finish his story on Big Finish? And I don't think audios have been Peter Capaldi's thing anyway. So, you know, that's something to look into a little bit later on during the week. See if anything else comes from that. But would you fans like to see Big Finish audios? And what do you think of Seamus's article there? I will put the article in the link description, by the way, so you can read this rubbish for yourself. If it's on the Mirror newspaper, it will make great arse wiping material. But this journalist is a hack. He's made a headline out of nothing because he's nothing better to do. So, Seamus, you know, shut up. You know, you're a disgrace to journalism. Actually, all the journalists from the Mirror and the Sun newspaper, I would actually question their integrity, to be quite honest with you. You know, the Sun has a history, and so does the Mirror. So I wouldn't be listening to any of these idiots from any of these newspapers. They're trying to come down on Peter. I don't know why, but it's an absolute disgrace. His comments have been taken out of context. As I said, I will leave the article in the link description for you all, so you can read it for yourselves and have a look at this bull that this journalist is putting out there. But I find it quite funny now that the Comic-Con is all settled down now, and all of a sudden now you're getting all it is. Because Peter Capaldi is doing an interview circuit right now. Obviously, Suicide Squad is nearly upon us. So he has been asked a lot of questions, and he will get asked some Doctor Who questions. But people will have to be careful. And Seamus obviously doesn't understand that, you know, when he says the things that he's saying, that's not a swipe. He's not taking a swipe at BBC. He's not taking a swipe at Doctor Who or the monsters, right? Because he said he likes that kind of B-movie feel to it. That's not taking a swipe at Doctor Who. Doctor Who has always been like that. And if you are a Doctor Who fan, you'd actually know that. But the claims that you make in this article, that the budget has barely increased since the original episode screened in 1963. So you're telling me in 1963, right, an unearthly child When Doctor Who first came on, they spent $1 million on that. They spent $1 million an episode on that. No, they didn't. Go and do your research. You're a hack journalist. You haven't got a clue what you're saying. All right. The budget, if I'm correct in saying, the budget in 1963, I think, was 10 grand an episode. It could have been a little bit less or a little bit more, but it was nowhere near $1 million an episode. BBC would not give $1 million in 1963 to do a family show. No way. Get away. Cop on to yourself. But again, this is hack journalism. They've nothing better to do, so they're making up headlines, folks. So be careful when you're reading all these news articles. As I said, the media over the last few years during the Jodie Whittaker era have not been sincere in their reporting. So why are people listening to this rubbish, right? My suggestion is, if this is a real newspaper and it's a real article in the newspaper, wipe your arse with it, right? And I'd say to you guys online, you see this article, don't even share it. It's not even worth sharing because it's shit. Right. Well, I'm going to go now. I'll talk to you later on. Look after yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's very windy and cloudy here. But the main thing is it's cool. I'm off now to do a bit of pasta for the wife. And I'll be back later on. See you soon.